Hey, welcome to Functional Hips. This is a mobility-based flow. So it's the best of both worlds. We are definitely improving our mobility as well as flowing in a more like dynamic, high energy way. So let's just dive right into this class. So you will not need anything for this class. I'm just going to be on my mat and come into a child's pose to start. So feel free to have your knees as wide as it feels good. Maybe try to find a bit more rounding in your back so that we can move into that beautiful back body breathing. It's nice to have your arms onto your head as you take a moment to breathe and arrive to your body. And for this class, can you give yourself your full attention? So let this be your time to move in a way that feels good, as well as give yourself the space that you need to be with yourself. Come back into those deep grounding breaths. Allow your inhale to come in from your nose. And let your exhale come out as a sigh from your mouth. Begin to wiggle your hips from side to side. So you can feel like your hips are rolling over your heels as you create some space in the back of your hips here. Just rolling a bit from side to side in your child's pose. And then from there, bring your hands underneath your shoulders as you come into a tabletop position. And again, we're going to take our hips from side to side. So you can feel some length or space in the back of your hips as you do that. And then allow these to turn into these circular movements where your hips are circling over your knees. Try to keep your spine neutral. So we're moving our hip in these ranges of motion, and our spine is fairly neutral. So you're finding that natural S-curve of your spine and finding stability there. And from here, can you step your right leg out to the side as you come onto your hands and your knees. So we're going to rock forward a bit from side to forward and back. So rocking forward and back. And notice, do you feel some stretching in that right inner leg? Can you inhale as you go back and then exhale to go forward? And then keep your left hand right underneath your shoulder as you reach your right arm all the way up. And we're going to take a nice big, beautiful stretch here as you reach your right arm back. Keep your neck long. You can also drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Inhale. And then exhale as you reach your right arm underneath you as you twist and look to the left side. Making sure that your left hand is strongly pushing the floor away. So you want the left arm to be very active. Left shoulder does not creep up into your ear. It stays pushing the floor away from you. Inhale, reaching the right arm up. And exhale as you twist and look to that left side. Keep pushing the floor away from you. Last one here. Inhale. And exhale as you twist. And then coming back into all fours. What we're going to do here is very gently taking a deep breath, keeping the arms wide. Can you push your right foot into the ground as if you're trying to squeeze that right foot towards your left knee? So you're trying to actively engage the inner legs. You're going to hold that here for 5. So the right leg, the inner thigh is stretched, but it's also actively working in that stretch. For 4, right foot down and presses in. For 3, 2, 1. And relax. And then from there, you can step that right leg back. And a few circles here from side to side. Just notice if there's any difference in the sensation between your left and your right leg. So my right hip feels more open or more spacious. Maybe the left leg doesn't feel anything. And then we'll do that on the other side. So I'll just quickly turn around here as I run out of space. So arms are going to stay wide and left leg steps out to the side. And then you can begin rocking forward and back. And notice any stretching in the left inner leg. So a lot of the times we feel like our inner thighs are tight, or they need stretching, need to be stretched out, but a lot of that is usually due to weakness. So it's important that we also work with our strength here. So strengthening the inner thighs is something that's so good for your back, so good for your hips, so good for your pelvic floor. It's good for your whole body. And I find that most people are much weaker on that left leg than the right. So you're going to rock forward and back and then find that stretch. And from here, you can take your left arm all the way up as you take a nice twist. Open. Can you drop your right ear to your right shoulder? And then exhale as you twist. Keep making sure that the right hand is still actively pushing into the ground. That right shoulder is strong. Inhale up. And exhale, twist. So inhale up. So you're also working on the mobility of your shoulder here because you're moving in a loaded way in full range of motion. So you're opening up that shoulder, that right one on the ground, and you're loading it as you adduct it or bring it in closer to your body. Last one, inhale, open, and exhale as you twist. Good, and then from there, come back onto all fours. And we're going to start working on the strength of that left inner leg. So keep your arms wide, keep your spine stable. Take a deep breath in, and then begin to press your left foot into the ground a lot. As you do that, you're also going to feel like you're trying to bring the left foot towards your right knee. So you're adducting, but you're not actually moving anything because the floor is blocking you. So for 5, left foot down into the ground and in towards your right knee. 4, 3, and you really want to increase the intensity now for 2, making as much effort as you can for 1, and then you can relax, bend that left leg, and then step your leg back. Come back into those circles. Notice how your hips are feeling. Okay. And then from here, we're going to lift up into a downward facing dog. Feel free to cycle your heels, do whatever you like to do here. Maybe you want to open your chest. You can lift your hips higher. As you cycle the heels, we're lifting one heel up and the other heel follows. And then from there, you're going to walk your hands to the back of the mat. So you're slowly walking down as you bring your heels down to the ground. Bend your knees a lot and actively push your feet into the ground. Lower your head down and start to roll up one joint at a time. So tuck your tailbone, your lower back, keeping your arms heavy, and stacking your lower back on top of your pelvis, stacking your middle back on top of your lower back, keeping your toes long as you slowly make your way up into standing. Nice. Taking a big breath in here, we're going to reach the arms up. And exhale, bring everything down. Okay, and then from there, so you're in the back of your mat, we're just going to step the feet wide. So your toes are turning out. Your feet are not too wide, but they're a little bit wider than shoulder width. Okay, and your toes are turning out. And then from there, bring your hands at your hips. And we're going to do a little bit of a goddess squat, but a very important thing that I want you to make sure of is that as you do that, you don't stick your butt out or bring your chest forward, okay? So we want to keep our shoulders and our pelvis, our shoulders, our ribs and pelvis in one line, your knees pointing out, and you're just bringing your knees over your toes as you come down. So feeling that opening in the inner legs. Inhale and then exhale to come up. Okay, let's do that one more time, just making sure of our form. Shoulders and ribs and pelvis in one line, no sticking out of your butt, so trying to keep your tailbone a bit tucked under, and then exhale to come up. And then from there, let's work in our full range of motion. So what we're going to do is shoulders, ribs, pelvis in one line. Inhale. As you lower down, lift up your left heel and then tap your left knee down as you face the front, the right side. And then from there, open up. Both knees are really wide. Come back into your goddess. Lift your right heel up and then tap your right knee down as you face forward. And then to come back up. And come up. Okay, so that's one round. We'll do a couple more of those, making sure that you are keeping your knees wide. So inhale, lower down, lift your left heel, tap your left knee down as you face that right knee, and then come back, lift your right heel, drop your right knee, tap it to the ground. You're gonna feel that nice stretch in that front of the leg, and then bend and then come up. Last two here, two on each side. So knees are wide, shoulders over the pelvis. Lift your left heel and then tap your left knee and then come back out. Lift your right heel, tap your right knee. You want to feel your knee is underneath your pelvis. If it's really, really back, then you're going to step your legs closer together. So the legs are just a little bit wider than shoulder width. Last two here. Open the knees wide as you lower your pelvis down. Lift your left heel, tap your left knee, and then come back up. And then lift your right heel, tap your right knee down, knees over the pelvis, and come back up. Okay, good. And then from there, so lots of movement in the hips. So this is a great way to move from open hips into closed hips or internal rotation, which is great for your hips and your glutes as well. And then from there, you can come onto your hands and your knees. And then we're going to do a few rounds of cat-cow here. So hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale, open your chest. Exhale as you round your back. Take a big inhale through your nose. And then exhale as you drop your chest down into cow as you look forward. Inhale, rounding into cat, angry cat. Exhale. And last one, inhale. And exhale. Okay, and then from there, tuck your toes and come back into a downward facing dog. And then from here, right leg will lift up. And you're going to step your right foot forward. So we worked a bit on internal rotation. Now we're going to work on external rotation. So you can sit your hips down, bring your right foot in front of your right inner thigh, and your left leg can come behind you. So it's good to be square with the mat, but I will turn around so that you can see me. So making sure that you're square, you're facing the front of your mat so that you're not getting very confused. So the right heel in front of the right inner thigh. This is not like a 90-90 position. Legs are in. And then from there, ribs and pelvis are in one line. You're going to inhale as you bring your chest as forward as possible. What you want to feel is a stretch in the back of the right hip. And breathe here. Keep bringing your chest forward as you send your hips back. Making sure that your ribs and your pelvis are still aligned. We have that beautiful stack that we have worked on in many classes before, like core essentials. And then from there, inhale. And then as you exhale, you're going to push your hips forward. So think of squeezing the glutes as you bring your hips forward. And then you're going to sit back down. So it's important. As you're sitting back down, you're taking your hips as back as possible. You're not just sitting right back down. You're taking your hips as back as possible. Once you can't go any more back, you're going to sit down. If this is challenging, please bring a block or a cushion underneath your hips so that you can bring the floor closer to you. That's going to make it more accessible. So do that if you need to. So 4 more of those. Bring your chest forward as you... It's nice to have your hands at your pelvis because it allows you to Keep your pelvis and your ribs in one line. I find that reaching the arms forward makes it harder to keep the integrity of your core. Inhale here, keep pushing your hips back and your chest forward. Your shoulders are back, neck is long. Exhale as you sit right up. And then inhale, take your hips back, 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 back. Shoulders forward, hips back, and then sit down. Good. Bring your chest forward. Inhale into that back hip. You want to feel a stretch in the back of your butt. And then exhale forward. Inhale back. And exhale down. Good. Inhale as you bring your chest forward. Exhale to sit right up. Inhale as you go back. Maybe you have that cushion underneath your hips so you can sit down if it's there. Otherwise, you're pushing your hips back. You're bringing your chest forward and then sit down. Okay, that's great. And then from there, we're going to take that on the other side. So you can bring your hands back underneath your shoulders and step your knees underneath your hips. Notice differences between the right and the left side, and then come back into downward facing dog. Okay, cycle the heels. Left leg lifts right up, and then step your left leg forward. Drop your right knee down, and then sit into this Z stance or this modified 90-90. You want to be facing the front of your mat. Bring your hands at your pelvis. That's great for your awareness. Your back heel is behind you. And there's always lots of options for you. So we'll see if we will need that on this side as well. So bring your chest forward. That's gonna create a sensation of like a pigeon stretch in the back of the left hip. It's forward. Feel free to use your hands if you need more support. Find that stretch in the back of your left hip and then take a breath in. And from there, you're going to exhale as you sit right up. So you're going to push your hips forward, ribs and pelvis stay in one line. And then as you sit back, you're going to take your hips as back as possible. Can you keep your ribs and your pelvis in one line? So no arching, no sticking your butt out. You're just pushing your hips, your butt back, 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 as if you're sitting for the wall behind you, and then sit back down. Okay, and then from there, push your hips, push your chest forward, inhale, and then sit up. Squeeze your glutes, ribs, and your pelvis are in one line, and then push your hips as back as possible, and then sit back down. Okay, chest goes forward, shoulders back, inhale, and exhale up. And then push your hips back, 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 back. We're gonna do 2 more here. Okay, so from there, push your chest forward, your hips back. Feel the stretch in the back of your left hip. Inhale, exhale as you sit up. Feel the glutes contract at the top. Push your hips back. Go lower down slowly with control. Don't just thump yourself down. You can have that cushion underneath your hips if you'd like. That makes it more accessible. Last one, bring your chest forward, shoulders back. Feel that stretch in the back of your left hip, and then push forward, come back. Beautiful, and then sit back down. Okay, and then bring your hands back underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. Notice a bit more evenness in both sides of your hips. And then take a few rounds of cat-cow. So you're gonna push your chest forward and then round your back in a way that feels nice and intuitive. So rounding and arching a few times here. And from here, come up into your downward facing dog. As you inhale, your right leg will lift up, and then step your right leg forward. Drop your knee, your back knee down. And you can have a block underneath your right hand if you want, or just lower your right hand down. Inhale, left arm goes up towards the ceiling. So you're lengthening, keeping your tailbone tucked under. And then you're going to exhale, bring your elbow, left elbow to your right knee, both hands at the center of your heart. Option 2, open the arms wide as well, or press your hands firmly into each other. Inhale here, and if you are pregnant or not comfortable in this position, you can just have your left hand down, your right arm up on the ground. okay? So don't do that deep twist if there's a baby in there. Keep your shoulders wide, and this is a great way to create some space in the back of this right hip. And then from there, you're going to lower your hands down and step your right leg back. Lift your heels up really high, round your back, and drop your knees down. Inhale, open the chest, tuck your tailbone as you lift your hips all the way up into a downward facing dog. Take a breath in here and then do this on the other side. So left leg lift up high, step your left leg forward. Drop the right knee down. You want to be in this 90-degree position on both legs. And then reach your right arm all the way up, side bend to the left side. So you're reaching right arm up and over to the left. And then you can take a twist here. Right elbow on left knee. Both hands at the center of your chest. Shoulders are wide. Take your variation also. You can have your arms wide on the ground and up to the sky. So there's nothing wrong with doing like passive stretches or twists like that, just as long as we learn how to control this range of motion, which is what we're going to do next. So you can lower your hands down and step your right foot forward. Press both feet into the ground strongly and tuck your tailbone as you bend your knees, and we're going to slowly stack our spine over our pelvis. So you're going to tuck your tailbone and then feel your lower back stacking on top of your pelvis. Feel your middle back stacking on top of your lower back. Take your time as you come up here and then standing up tall. Beautiful. From there, all of your weight is going to come onto your right foot, and then step your left leg behind you. And shift your weight onto your right leg by leaning forward a bit and really feeling that all of your weight is on your right leg. So the left leg is just there to support you. So you're on the front of your foot, you're on the front of the back foot, and you're putting all of your weight on that right leg. And then from there, so I will turn around just so that you guys can see this. Bring your hands at your pelvis, and then you're going to feel your left pelvis bone, this bone in the front here. It's going to come closer to that right knee. So what we're doing is we're rotating our whole body to face the right side. So you should feel a nice stretch in the back of the right hip, and making sure that the standing leg is very stable. So what we're doing is you're rotating your whole body from your pelvis over a stable leg. And this is pelvis mobility. So you're gonna rotate to the right side, feel the hip as it stretches in the back of the right side, and then open up. Good. Let's do that a few more times. So you're gonna rotate to the right side as much as you can. Feel that right leg is very stable. You don't want to feel any like tension in the lower back. So if you feel that, come even more forward with your body, with your torso. Feel that stretch in the back of the right leg, and then open up as you open to that left side. So you're rotating, facing the right, and then facing the left. Trying to keep everything stable. That right leg is very stable. Inhale here and exhale as you open. Last one. Inhale, feeling a stretch in the back of this right hip. It's like you're doing a twist, but you're not using your hands. You're doing this actively. So you're lengthening the glutes, the right glute a lot. And then you're also going to contract it by opening to the left side. Okay, and then from there, we're going to advance this into a half moon flow. So all of your weight is on your right leg. This is just an option. So if you don't like this, you can keep the left leg down. Otherwise, you're going to put all of your weight on the right leg and then lift that left leg up. Everything is aligned. I don't want any flaring in the ribs, no extension of your lower back. Feel free to hold on to a wall if you want to. There's no shame in doing that at all. So you're going to push your right hip back. Left pelvis bone goes closer to your right knee as you rotate. It's like you're doing a twist. Feel that length in the back of your right glute, and then you're going to open to that left side. For 4, So rotating and opening up into a half moon as you open your whole body to the left. And then turn your whole body to the right. Keep your standing leg pointing forward. Your standing knee is still pointing forward. And 3 more. Rotate to the right and then open to the left. You want your whole body to move with you. So you're twisting to the right and then opening to the left like a half moon. This is so good for your ankles as well, for your stability. Okay, good. And then we'll do this on the other side. So funnily enough, my video stopped. I already recorded this class once and my video stopped recording in the middle. So this is the second time I'm repeating this class. So put all of your weight on your left leg. I had to record it again. Put all of your weight on your left leg and from there, shift your weight forward on that left leg. That back leg is just a kickstand, and then you're going to bring your right hip bone closer to your left knee. So it's like you're rotating, but be very sure that you've still got your stack of your core, and you're just feeling this length or stretch in the back of your left hip. Breathe in through the nose here, and then you're going to open out to the side. Make sure your left leg is still pointing forward. So this is a position of external rotation. And then we go into a position of internal rotation by bringing the right hip bone closer to that left knee. It's like you're bringing them closer to each other, but keep your left leg very stable. Inhale into the back of your butt. Exhale as you open. And 3 more. And you can do this variation if you don't want to do it the more challenging half moon one after. But this is a good way just to get the sensation of the movement. So you're putting all of your weight on your left leg, feeling that stretch in the left hip, and then open to the side. And then rotate your whole body, your shoulder, your pelvis, your knee, they're all in one line. You're feeling a big stretch here. And if you feel that in your lower back, then bring your body more forward and your hips more back. And then open. Okay, and then let's do that with the half moon or single leg flow style. Hold on to a wall if you'd like, and then put all of your weight on your left leg. And then shift your chest forward as you bring your hips back. So you're really loading that left hip. You can lift that right leg up. And then rotate to that left side. Inhale, and then exhale as you open. Inhale as you twist, and then exhale as you open, half moon. You can open the arms wide or hold onto a wall or a table in front of you. Twist, feel that length in the back of the hip, and then open. Last 2 here as you twist. Right hip bone goes closer to the left knee. Feel this left glute is stretched. You want maximum length here. And then open. As you open your right hip bone to the wall. Last one. Rotate and open. Very good. And then from there, lower your right leg down. Just notice that sensation of openness in your pelvis and your hips. And then from here, we're going to sit down onto the ground with our finishing sequence here. So sitting up tall, you can find a long spine. Bring your hands onto your knees. Take a breath in, and then a few pelvic tilts. Can you tuck your tailbone and then stick your butt out, or do like an anterior pelvic tilt? So you're really sitting on your sit bones, and then tuck your tailbone under. For 4, for 3, for 2, 1. Good. If anyone here is pregnant, you can just go ahead and lie on your side or come onto your final Shavasana, whatever that is. Otherwise, let's end with a little bit of core work where we're going to sit up really long. Bring your arms in front of you. Keep your feet grounded and heavy onto the ground. And then slowly begin to tuck your tailbone or do that posterior pelvic tilt. and feel one joint at a time from your lower back coming down to the ground. So you want to go as back as possible, as long as your feet remain heavy. If you feel your feet getting lighter, then it's time to pause there. So I'm going to keep rolling down one joint at a time. Really want to feel my feet very heavy, and I want to feel my lowest part of my back touching the ground first. Taking your time here, middle part of the spine. You can do a nice exhale to help you to engage your core correctly. And then finally, your middle back, upper back. Good. And then hug your knees into your chest. Take a few circles with your knees. And it's nice to feel like you're giving your lower back and your pelvis a nice massage with the ground as you do that. So grounding as you lie down on your back. And feel free to bring your legs up for a moment as you let everything trickle down and feel the ground underneath your back. And then lower your legs down. If there's any final movements you want to make, please do that. Otherwise, meet us in this nice big Shavasana where your arms are open wide. Taking a nice big breath in, and then you can open your mouth and let it all out. Let's take one more of those. Inhale, breathing in fully into your belly, into your ribs, into your back, into every part of your torso. And exhale everything out. Stay here for as long as you'd like. The longer the better, if you have that time. And when you're ready to come up, you can come up into a seated position. So thank you for joining me in this class. I actually had to film this class twice. So yeah, I definitely feel it in my hips now. And I'll see you next time. Let me know how this class was. My dog always comes, he knows when the class is ending and he knows when I'm saying bye. So he comes and makes his entrance here. All right, see you.